For most of the Untold Engine development, I was debugging blind. If something broke, I would immediately open the code editor, add breakpoints everywhere, inspect variables, step through functions, and just hope that I could eventually find the root cause of the bug. And honestly, when the engine was smaller, that workflow worked. But as the engine became more complex, that started to fall apart. And eventually, I realized something that completely changed how I develop the engine today. The problem wasn't that I needed to debug harder. The problem was that I had no visibility into what the engine was doing along the way. So in this video, I want to show you the diagnostic and instrumentation systems I added to the Untold Engine and how they completely changed the way I debug rendering, streaming, and performance issues. So instead of immediately opening the code editor, the first thing that I do now is inspect the engine itself. I started building instrumentation directly into the engine. There's a global engine stats systems, a tile streaming debugger, a texture streaming debugger, memory tracking, and streaming states visualizers. Now, when performance drops or the engine freezes or memory spikes unexpectedly, I don't start digging through the code anymore. I first look at the instrumentation, and most of the time, the engine is already telling me what is wrong. But performance problems are only one category of bugs, right? Sometimes the renderer itself is behaving incorrectly. And for those situations, one of the most valuable things I implemented was a debug render target system. This completely changed how I debug rendering problems. Instead of guessing whether SSAO is working or whether SMAA edge detection is behaving correctly, or whether the G-buffer's targets contain invalid data, I can see it immediately. I can inspect the depth buffer, normals, albedo, SSAO, lighting passes. The GPU stops feeling like a black box, but some bugs are even trickier than that. Sometimes the problem isn't performance and it isn't rendering. Sometimes the engine simply isn't doing what you think it's doing or what it should be doing. For example, with tile streaming, I added debug bounding boxes that change colors depending on the streaming state. So now I can instantly see which tiles are loaded, which ones are unloading, and whether the streaming radius logic is behaving correctly. I added similar tooling for textures bitmap streaming, so I can verify whether transitions are happening when they should. The biggest engineering shifts I've had over the past few years is realizing that great debugging isn't about memorizing more code. It's about building tooling around your engine or project that helps you debug faster. Thank you guys for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you want to check out my game engine, please go to www.untoldengine.com. And as always, I'll see you guys next time.